Hey everybody, if you're new here, my name's Louie, and I live and travel out of my 2014 Chevy Express cargo van there. And currently I'm just outside of Ajo, Arizona, in the Sonoran Desert here, camped up on some BLM land. I've been here for almost 2 weeks, so my stay is almost up. And I just switched campsites from the last one I was at out here, and I'll just be here a couple more days. So in this episode, we're going to go check out the little town of Ajo, and maybe we'll even do some cooking on the campfire tonight. I hope, if it doesn't rain. So thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoy this. All right, I'm all parked up. This is the latest campsite. Well, first thing I'm going to do is pick up this trash. Whether I stay here or not. Don't want that blowing around the desert. In the distance there, far distance, there's more campers. Somebody left this at my campsite. That's a main dirt road right here. And you can see how nice it is. And it's very wide. This area right here, which is basically an intersection, kind of four-way, 4 different roads going off in each direction. It just keeps on going. Who knows how far. And then over there, another road that goes off into the desert. There's probably camp spots up there. Most of the spots out here tend to be smaller, like 1 or 2 vans. And they all have fire rings like this. Oh, look at that. It's a organ pipe. But it's going every which way. Must have had a hard life. This is the road that I'm camped on. All surrounded by these mountains you can hike and mountain bike on. I'm just wandering aimlessly. But so many roads out here. I don't know if you can tell the diverse terrain of this desert BLM. But it's all little hills and mountains and washes. This is the entrance into town from the south end. And that right there is one of the new restaurants. Sonoran Sweet and Savory. And these are 2 of the churches on the square. Let's take a walk around the square. I'll show you some of the things here. Some of the businesses. And this is the new pizza restaurant called Fat Cactus. It's also got a bar next door, full bar. This is the public library right here. It's got some seating outside, free Wi-Fi, nice comfortable seating inside. And here's a little shop. I guess it's a second-hand shop. And this is a studio. They do meditation, Pilates, yoga. And here's the art gallery, gift shop, and frame shop. This is a great little gift shop here. It's all local artists. closed right now, so I can't take in. And then next door to that is an art gallery, which is also all local artists selling and displaying their artwork. Behind the shops on the square is this artist's alley. Like they have a gym here too. I think I mentioned this was a train depot at one time. This side of it over here. You can see the railroad tracks there that are no longer in use. And this is the visitor center. So this train went from Tucson to, this town used to be called Cornelia because it has the Cornelia copper mine, and Gila Bend. I couldn't film in the visitor center because they were playing the radio, with copyrighted music. Check out the other side of the plaza here. This was an old theater, and now it's Oasis Coffee. I went in there and they gave me a tour. They still have the old theater in the back. The chairs are gone, but the theater is still there. And then here on the end is a great little thrift store where I donate a lot of my things that I save all year that I'm trying to get rid of. Downsizing, you know. Got all kinds of books. Time to get some water. 5 gallons for $1 or 25 cents a gallon. This is the supermarket, the only supermarket in town. And it's also the Ace Hardware and a cafe, all in one. We just arrived at the Ajo Museum. You can see it was once an old church. This area I'm in is called Mexican Town. It was a Mexican community back in the days when Ajo was established as a copper mining town with the name Cornelia, and that's the Cornelia mine. And up there on the hill where those water tanks are, that house was the owner's house, the owner of the copper mine. I believe it's a private residence now. And as typical of these old churches like this, these mission churches, they had a courtyard here. So that whole area there is the old copper mine. I believe it closed in the 80s. There's still some old buildings left from the day. Look at that. Old mining equipment. Okay, let's see if we can get over to the viewpoint of the mine. There's some old basketball courts here. This is all part of the miners' recreation area, I guess. Let's see how close we can get to the mansion up on the hill. Pretty nice. I wouldn't mind owning that right now. I guess somebody's lucky enough to have it as their private residence. Gosh, I would love to see the inside of it. It's all fenced off. You can't really get in there, but let's see if I can put the camera up here and get you a view. I believe that's a sample of a piece of the ore before the copper is extracted from it. Okay, apparently that's all we're going to see of that. Let's see what else we can find in town. I just pulled over right after I left the mine because I saw this roadside art. That's cool. That's a javelina. Last time I was here, somebody had water out for javelinas on the side of the road, and I saw them sleeping under some trees, but I haven't seen any lately. There's no notice here as to if this is supposed to mean something or be something. So I guess it's whatever you want it to be. If you're not from Arizona or the Southwest, you might not have heard of a javelina. I never did before I came here. It's it looks like a wild boar, but they're only in certain sections, and I believe they're only here in the Sonoran Desert of Arizona and maybe Mexico, northern Mexico. But they're smaller than a wild boar and more brown colored. And you will see them walking around sometimes. I mean, I know 2 years ago I saw them walking around a neighborhood in downtown Ajo. Some more buildings here left over from the heyday of the mine. It looks like it was a hotel or something. But it looks all boarded up now. Sorry about the dirty windshield again. But this is called Mexican Town. Look at that place. Looks like you're in Mexico. That's what it reminds me of. I just came around the back of that building and it was a hotel. time. Another interesting building over there. This is an old school. Beautiful building. And I believe it is now live-work lofts or live-work spaces. The back of the school is now mixed-use businesses. That's where my favorite coffee roaster is, Curly's Coffee. So we're just going around the side of the school building now. Looks like a nice place to have an apartment. We'll head back up into the BLM land now. I'm looking for the van. Kind of went off track and just wandered into the desert. Go up on top of this hill, see if I can see it down below somewhere. Ah, and there it is. Decided to have a fire tonight, and I'm gonna cook on the coals again. Better than cooking in the van, especially on a nice night like tonight. Dinner is ready. Looks pretty good. Simple dinner tonight. Veggies wrapped in aluminum foil, cooked on the coals. Simple van life. Campfire cooking. We've got a rainy day today. The first rain of the season, first rain of the winter for me. It's supposed to rain all day. Doesn't look like it's coming down too hard, but it's wet out there. So I think today's going to be Louie in the van. And I'll take advantage of that and maybe do some cooking. I've got some apples that I have to use up. So I think I'm going to do another apple dessert. Maybe an apple tart this time to change it up a little bit from the last two apple desserts. We've got a nice hot cup of coffee here I just made. So I think we'll settle in, get cozy, and do some baking. I just stepped out for a minute. The rain stopped here. It smells so fresh and clean out here in the desert after a rain. I don't know if I've ever been in the desert when it rained, but yeah, the ground doesn't even look wet. It soaks up that rain so quickly. It's supposed to rain all day today though, so... Okay, I'm gonna start out with my flour here. I've got my combination that I usually like to use. I've got equal parts of oat flour, garbanzo flour, and almond meal, or almond flour. And then I added a little bit of rolled oats and a little bit of flax seed meal, maybe a teaspoon of baking powder, and then some cinnamon, and a little bit of sugar. Not a lot, and because I put very little sugar in there, I'm gonna add some additional sweetener. This is stevia. Okay, once that's all mixed together, the dry ingredients there, I'm gonna add my wet ingredients. I've got I made some vegan buttermilk. It's soy milk with a little bit of apple cider vinegar in there. Makes it nice and thick and creamy. About a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Using these kinds of flours, they soak up a lot of liquid. So I'm probably gonna have to add some more milk to that. It's starting to come together into a dough. Okay, I have the air fryer insert with my parchment paper in there. And we'll just take and spread that into the bottom of the pan here. So basically what this is a big oatmeal cookie. Yep. And normally a tart has a little ridge around the edge when you put it in a tart pan. So I'm going to make kind of like a bowl here, an indentation in the center. And then the edges will come up a little to create a crust along the edge. And again, this is van life rustic cooking, I like to call it. I'm not looking for pretty. I'm looking for tasty and healthy. And then I'm going to cut up some apples here. Again, I like to leave the skins on. Okay, I've got my apples all cut up. Sprinkle them with a little bit of lemon juice. And I'm going to pop these in the microwave for just a few minutes and soften them up a little bit. Now that the crust is finished baking and the apples are cooked in the microwave, I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon to the apples, and I'm going to add some chopped walnuts and some raisins. Remember that an air fryer isn't, in case you don't know, it isn't just for frying, especially if you have limited space. It's also a mini convection oven, so you can cook anything in it really. And then I'll take that and I'll put that on top of the crust. Okay, next I'm going to sprinkle about a teaspoon or so, maybe a little less, of sugar on top of the apples. And what I'm hoping in the air fryer is that it gives it kind of a browned, melted sugar kind of covering. Okay, I'm going to take that, put it back in the air fryer basket. And because everything is essentially already cooked, we're only going to need to brown that sugar on top. Okay, that's done. It came out of the oven, and I think it looks pretty good. The raisins actually plumped up a little bit. Let's cut into that and give it a try. There we go. Let's give that a try. That came out good. Okay, thank you for joining me for Cooking with Louie in the Van on this rainy day. If you enjoyed that, let me know in the comments down below. And what you think. Is this something you would eat? Is this something you would bake?